We're going to start with the winners, okay? I like to start off on a high note, and actually Taylen Green emerged as a winner in the Browns rookie minicamp, okay?
Taylen Green is here, and he's throwing the rock around. He's got two good wide receivers from this draft that he's got to help out. KC Concepcion, Denzel Boston.
Something is already shifting inside the Cleveland Browns, and you don't need a preseason game or a depth chart release to feel it. Rookie minicamp just wrapped, and while most people treat these few days like it's just light drills and overhyped highlights, if you really pay attention, you can already see the separation happening. You can see who belongs, who's forcing coaches to rethink plans, and who might already be slipping into trouble before the real competition even starts. And right now, the Browns have created something they haven't had in a long time: real competition across multiple positions. That sounds like a good thing, but it also means every rep matters, every mistake gets noticed, and every player is being quietly evaluated. The biggest takeaway from this minicamp is that the Browns finally have options, not just depth, but different types of players who bring different tools. And when you suddenly have options, it changes everything. It changes how coaches think, how schemes are built, and most importantly, how quickly players can rise or fall. Because now, nobody is guaranteed anything. Not the veterans, not the rookies, not even guys who thought they had safe roles heading into camp. This is where things start to get real, even before the pads come on.
One thing that really stood out was Taylen Green's size. I mean, when he was out there, he's just towering over everybody. Like, you could see. And Joe Flacco was tall. Taylen Green tall. It shows at the quarterback position. It's been a while since the Browns have had a quarterback that tall besides Flacco. And
let's start with the biggest winner coming out of rookie minicamp, and that's Taylen Green. You didn't need a breakdown or analysis to notice him. The moment he stepped on the field, he stood out physically. At 6'6", he towers over everyone. And when you combine that size with his speed and explosiveness, it almost looks unfair. This isn't your typical quarterback build. This is someone who looks like he was built in a lab for modern football. And when you hear about his 4.3 speed and his vertical jump numbers, it makes even more sense why the Browns were so excited to bring him in. Taylen Green doesn't need to be a starting quarterback to completely change how this offense operates. That's what makes him so valuable. Todd Monken already hinted at creative usage, mentioning potential packages in short yardage situations, red zone plays, and maybe even third down scenarios. That alone tells you the Browns are thinking beyond the traditional quarterback role for him. This is about creating mismatches. This is about forcing defenses to prepare for something they haven't seen before.
Taylen Green drafted in the 6th round. A good arm for this rookie camp too. Like, you look at the batch of UDFAs, and it's a weaker quarterback class, which means the UDFA class is weak. You wanted to make sure you got an arm for these solid rookie wide receivers.
Because when you have a player with this kind of athletic ability, it becomes tempting to use him early, even if he's not fully polished. And while that can create exciting moments, it also comes with risk. Monken pointed out the areas Green needs to improve: his footwork, his cadence, and tightening up his release. Those are not small issues. Those are foundational elements of playing quarterback in the NFL. You can't rely on athleticism forever. At some point, the details matter more than the raw traits. This is where young players usually make a mistake. They think their natural ability will carry them through everything. But the NFL exposes every weakness. If Green doesn't clean up those mechanical issues, defenses will adjust quickly. But if he does, that's when things get scary. Because a player with his size and movement ability, combined with improved fundamentals, becomes a nightmare to defend. That's why he's such an intriguing piece right now. He's not finished, but the upside is obvious.
But also would have to improve on tightening his release, okay? What it is he's a developmental player who's got the strength, the size, the arm strength, right? A lot of it's there.
Now, let's move to another major winner from minicamp, and that's Emanuel McNeil Warren. He might not have the flashy highlight clips that grab attention immediately, but if you listen to what coaches are saying and watch how he moves on the field, you start to understand why he's getting so much praise. Todd Monken described him as long, fast, physical, and someone with unbelievable range. That's exactly what you want at the safety position. Here's the part nobody is talking about: being in the right position consistently immediately as a rookie is one of the hardest things to do in football. Most young players struggle with reading the game, with reacting quickly enough, with understanding how offenses are trying to attack them, but Warren looks like he's already comfortable. He's already moving with purpose, and when a rookie shows that kind of awareness early, it builds trust with the coaching staff fast. This is where it gets dangerous for the rest of the secondary, because once coaches trust you, they find ways to get you on the field, and once you're on the field, you get opportunities to prove you belong. Warren isn't just competing for a backup role, he's positioning himself to be a real contributor sooner than expected. That's a big deal for a team that wants to win now, not just develop for the future.
Then you see Boston. Boston is extremely long and smooth and fluid, and as a big tall receiver doesn't feel like he's stiff. He's very long, he glides, he gains ground.
Then there's Denzel Boston, who might end up being the most impactful rookie from this entire class, because what he brings is something the Browns have been missing: size at wide receiver that actually translates into production. Not just a tall player, but a big-bodied receiver with strong hands and a large catch radius. Monken specifically mentioned how his size shows up and how he's able to get in and out of breaks effectively, which is something big receivers often struggle with. Here's the part nobody is talking about. Boston might not just be a red zone target. He might be a complete receiver who can line up anywhere and create mismatches. That's what makes him so dangerous. If you can move him around, if you can use him in different formations, you force defenses to adjust constantly. And when you pair that with a quarterback who isn't afraid to throw contested balls, you start to unlock something special. This is where it gets dangerous for the rest of the receiver room, because Boston isn't just competing for snaps, he's competing for a major role. And if he keeps showing what he showed in minicamp, it's not crazy to think he could become one of the top targets on this team sooner rather than later. That's how quickly things can change when a player brings something unique. But with winners, there are always losers, and this is where things start to get uncomfortable. KC Concepcion is someone a lot of fans were excited about, and for good reason. He's explosive, versatile, and has the ability to make plays all over the field. But in rookie minicamp, the one thing people were worried about showed up immediately: drops. And not just any drop, but a wide open, uncontested drop that went viral. Because perception can shape a player's narrative before they even play a real game. It's not just about the drop itself, it's about what it represents. If your biggest weakness is concentration drops, and the first clip people see reinforces that, it sticks. It becomes part of the conversation whether it's fair or not. Here's the part nobody is talking about. One drop doesn't define a player, but it does create pressure. Now, every catch Concepcion makes will be judged differently. Every drop will be magnified. That's the reality of playing in today's environment. And while he showed plenty of good things in minicamp, that one moment changed how people are talking about him right now. Now let's talk about Gabriel, because his situation is starting to look complicated. This isn't about him having a bad minicamp, it's about the bigger picture. When you bring in a player like Taylen Green, who offers a completely different skill set and upside, it changes the dynamics of the quarterback room. Suddenly, Gabriel's role becomes less clear. This is where it gets dangerous for him, because roster spots are limited, and the Browns don't want to carry 4 quarterbacks again. That didn't work last year, and it's not something they want to repeat. So now it becomes a numbers game. If Green offers more versatility and long-term potential, Gabriel could find himself on the outside looking in. And then there's the tight end room, which is getting crowded fast. You've got multiple new additions, rookies coming in, and veterans trying to hold on to their spots. Names like Brendan Bates and Jack Stoll are starting to feel that pressure. When you draft multiple tight ends and start experimenting with different roles, it's a clear signal that changes are coming. Here's the part nobody is talking about. The Browns drafting multiple tight ends isn't just about adding depth, it's about reshaping how they want to play. It's about versatility. It's about having players who can block, catch, and move around the formation. And if you don't fit that vision, you become expendable. This entire minicamp comes down to one word: competition. The Browns have created real competition across the roster, and that's going to push players to either step up or fall behind quickly. And while it's still early, you can already see the outlines of what this team might become. So now, the real question is this: which of these rookies is actually going to turn early flashes into real impact when the season starts? Is Taylen Green going to become a weapon or remain a project? Is KC Concepcion going to take over this receiver room? And can KC Concepcion shake off the early narrative and prove his consistency? And who from this roster is already on the edge of being cut before we even get to preseason? Because one thing is clear, this rookie class isn't here to wait. They're here to compete, to challenge, and to change the direction of this team. And when that happens, not everyone survives.